Everyone has ideas of what the problems are in our society and how to fix them. We took it one step further. Our premise is simple: bring together people from different backgrounds to discuss ideas that affect us. If at the end of the show you feel informed, educated, or alarmed, we have done our job. We are the Social Disruption Network. The legalization of drugs. Marijuana.
Nah, nah.
Marijuana.
Not drugs.
Marijuana. Well, okay. Listen.
It's a different deal. It's a different deal.
Semantics, potato. We are going to talk
No,
about.
no, 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 no.
We are going to talk
Let's
about.
stop.
We are going to talk about the massive expansion of the legalization of marijuana for recreational use and the effects it has on our communities, on the workplace, and the what standards
Impact.
what standards can an employer set to ensure that his employees do not come in high. So,
Wait,
first
why do we? Okay.
first question. First question.
Hold on. Actually, let's back up in 1 second because I just want to add in there
Okay.
that maybe we should talk about whether or not it should matter if employees show up high, or under what circumstances it does matter.
It matters.
When it should matter.
It matters in every circumstance.
think-
If you work at a bank and you show up high, it matters. If you work at a doctor's office and you show up high, it matters.
Okay,
If
so
you work
let's talk about that also.
if you
But you
work
show
at the
up high,
DMV and
matters.
you show up high, it matters. But I don't believe it matters in your private life. But I do believe it matters when you show up to any job. Doesn't matter if I own the company and I don't want you high on my work clock. It matters.
Okay, we can talk about that.
Hang on. Sean, can you run the numbers on how people at the DMV could be slower if they're high?
That's a good question. If it could be any slower, we're in trouble. The only thing that matters next from a DMV person being high is the chances of me dying in line.
Yeah.
Because that would be something in itself. Okay, so are we all in agreement that marijuana should be legalized?
I think the question was too open-ended, and there's a lot of things on that question. Question should be simplified to one thing.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I vote for.
Okay, what do you think
and then
about
open it up.
what do you think about the legalization of marijuana?
I think I don't see a lot of cons on the part of taxation and the amount of money that every state is gonna start, getting. I think for medicinal purposes, it's gonna be tremendous for medicinal purposes. On this, I am with you on the corporate side. I think people need to be very responsible, not only employees but employers enforcing want you high on my on my clock.
Okay.
Other than that, that's my
Russian,
two cents right there.
Russian, you had a big response physically from that question. What is your perception or what is your thought process on marijuana?
From a police officer's point of view, the legalization of marijuana will do nothing but cause trouble for everyone. From my point of view as a police officer, Spencer, help me out with this. We have laws on alcohol. It's illegal to drink and drive. We have tests that we can run to figure out the level of intoxication that a person has while they're operating a vehicle. Now we're going to have to go in and redo all of this stuff, redo all kind of tests to figure out the level of intoxication a person has while they're influenced by marijuana.
But that's why they change it to driving under the influence, right? And not driving while intoxicated.
Right.
Okay.
This is true. This is very, very true. But the thing of it is that we have the standardized field sobriety test. Gives us an idea whether or not a person is or is not intoxicated, or to put them on the intoxilizer. It is entirely too difficult because the standardized field sobriety test does not give enough indication for marijuana use. Not to mention, a breathalyzer is not going to tell me whether or not somebody is high on marijuana.
But you can tell if they're under the influence, which is enough to get them pulled off the road.
True, True, but there's just in that standpoint alone, having to figure out what the deal. I mean, somebody can take a prescription pain medicine to get home from work.
Right.
That is a level of intoxication. However, we pull them over, they've got a prescription bottle in their hand. Okay?
Yeah, you still got to pick them up, though.
Not necessarily.
Well, yeah, you can't let them drive away. They're under the influence, and you can't let them drive away.
I can have them call someone to come get them.
Understood. And that's okay, but you still did your part.
Right. But the thing of it is, no matter what, yes, there are pros to the legalization of marijuana. There definitely are. The
30 seconds, my brother.
The taxes that we could get would be phenomenal. Only pro.
Okay, Spencer, what do you think?
This has been kind of an interesting topic for me. I guess like in the last few years for me, I've gotten to be a little more lenient towards. I mean, being a police officer, you're always like, marijuana's the antichrist. My dad was a police officer, so of course it was a no-go in my home. Hell no. Yeah, but now that you're seeing states like Washington, Colorado, they're actually making money off the taxation of this. And as I've gotten older and kind of understand, yeah, I'd be okay with the legalization of marijuana, but as long as it's a responsible use of it, it is like we were talking about earlier, don't use it on the workplace. Because, I mean, I can't see a job where you would benefit from being high on the clock. I just don't, so it's kind of the same argument.
Right. Luis.
Yeah.
Hey, you had something you were going to say?
Well, yeah, I'm being lenient on the laws of being under the influence, marijuana, of course, will fall into that because any kind of prescription drug can probably fuck you up when you're driving or whatever. You're driving under the influence of a narcotic. Okay. But to put marijuana, as a plant, you put it right next to tobacco. If you take a couple of puffs of just a cigarette and hold them for a couple of seconds, you're gonna get high. You're gonna get drowsy. You're gonna get it. It's just a different level and it's a different chemistry from the marijuana plant.
Right.
Well, dude, medicinal purposes, it is one of the best plants and has many uses.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you how
CBD oil, and then use it for people.
I feel that way. Look, marijuana, cocaine, if people want to do crack, I'm okay with it as long as we don't take tax dollars to treat them when they're screwed up. Okay? And if the government can tax it all and lessen my tax burden, let people smoke dog food as long as
it's not on the same category. That's the thing. There's a misconception.
No, but that's just how I feel. I'm not saying anything with.
That's fine. That's fine.
The way I feel about drug use in particular is very simple. If they want to do it, allow them to do it. If the government can take and lessen my tax burden by making it legal and charging people for it, and you want to do it, you should have the right to go and do it. But do not take tax dollars for rehab, for hospitalization, for medical expenses. If you choose to do it, do it. But don't take tax dollars to take care of people who do it willingly. I'm okay with people doing drugs. I really am.
Joel Gill is a libertarian.
In many ways, I'm also a liberal in some ways, and I'm more conservative in other ways.
Is anyone left besides me? David, did you go?
You and David, yes, sir.
Dave, you can go.
Marijuana, David. Marijuana.
Well, I think it's real simple. You just treat it the same as alcohol. I understand the whole law enforcement type situation, but my brother has been doing it for decades. And I would say he's
shit.
To be quite honest with you, doesn't really have much of a problem with it. It doesn't really affect him that much. And like I said, he's been doing it for decades.
People are going to build a resistance to it.
If you pull him over, if you pull him over and he can pass a field sobriety test, and you just pulled him over just because you were bored, because Lord knows what happens. me ever, and I haven't, never smoked a day in my life. If I can pass a field sobriety test, there's no problem. But if you fail a field sobriety test, well, then there's other tests you can do once you take them downtown, quote unquote. But, and as far as doing it in the workplace and all that, to me, that's, again, up to the employer. You've got employers that don't want you to smoke in the building or smoke near the building. Where my wife works, she can't smoke in the parking lot. You actually have to leave the entire campus of the area to smoke.
Now you're talking about smoking cigarettes, right?
Yeah, talking about smoking cigarettes, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, my wife.
I was going to say buy brownies or gummies. Shit.
But, I mean, it's just that, it would be up to the individual employer. I
Right.
mean, shoot, how many times have we seen our elected officials that are passing these laws get busted for drugs?
3 minutes left, fellas. 3 minutes left.
So, I mean, I don't really see, like I said, you treat it the same as alcohol with the same rights, regulations, taxation burdens, and et cetera.
I agree with that 100%. Sean, my brother, what you got?
Okay, so first off, I think that there are definitely people who perform better in certain jobs when they are high. So maybe I'm on David's side here more or less.
Fuck.
I think it's just a matter of I mean, that's a complicated question. I don't think it's so cut and dry.
So let me throw you a couple of occupations and let me
hold on. I've only got like 2 minutes, right?
Forklift driver.
Being
I had like 15 seconds.
No,
let me get through my
2
thing.
minutes. Go ahead. 2 minutes.
All right. So I want to point out that all this marijuana legalization didn't start to happen until cigarette smoking had declined a lot. And I want to read a quote from Nixon's advisor, John Ehrlichman. He said that, so this was somebody who was, he was a close advisor to Richard Nixon when he was campaigning and when he was president. He said that the Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. So the question of, why is it illegal, or like what are the pros and cons, all that stuff, it's largely political. It's largely got to do with cigarette companies being able to make money and stuff like that. The drawbacks are very minimal at best.
All right. Well, let me go. Since we're all here, let's go through. Hey, Trevor, how you doing? We're talking about marijuana use. But anyway, let me give you occupations, and everybody answer whether or not it's okay for them to show up to work high. Brain surgeon, yes or no?
If they perform better when they're high, then let them do it.
Wait.
Brain surgeon, yes or no? Brain surgeon.
If it's cocaine, go for it.
I'm talking marijuana use. Show up to work high. Use. Brain surgeon. No. Bedside nurse.
What?
Nurse.
Depends. If she's hot, yes.
Teacher.
Wait. All nurses aren't women. Anyway.
Teacher. Yes or no? Can they show up to work?
Depends on what the subject is. Come on, man. If it's like fucking, I don't know, writing jokes, fuck yeah, you should be high writing jokes.
That's
what about math teachers?
Okay, let's think about short order cook.
Like Burger King?
No, they're cooking your food at Mel's Diner. You want them hot?
They'll eat it. They'll have the munchies, man. Come on.
Well,
you don't want them high.
So you don't want them high, okay?
No, that'll come out all the food with bites and shit.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I took a bite here.
I think this isn't going well. Like I think we're just wasting our time here. Let's
I'm just trying to figure out what occupations would be better off high. So
I think it just depends on the I think it just depends on the person. Some people perform better in most things when they're high.
Okay, well, we can obviously come to some sort of. I think with marijuana use, it comes down more to a moral dilemma for each individual than it is anything else. Everyone's got opinions on it. I don't want my children doing it. Of course, when they leave my home, that's up to them. But I don't see any problem with taxing it, and I'm glad that I think most of y'all see it that way also. I believe it's a minuscule issue, but I don't want it in my workplace, at my job, at my company. I don't want my employees high, so we can end it as that, but I don't really think it's that big of an issue,
Hang on. Let me ask you a question, Gil, since you brought it up.
Yes, sir.
Would you brain surgeon smoking a cigarette?
Wait, David, go ahead.
I said, would you be okay if your brain surgeon, while he's at his job, smoking a cigarette?
No, I would not.
Or your bedside nurse?
I would not be okay with the brain surgeon smoking a cigarette while he's taking care of me bedside. No.
Kind of the same thing, ain't it?
Well, no,
I mean,
no, no.
if you're
No. Well, if he's smoking a joint right there while he's next to me, there's a problem with that. I don't
okay,
want.
but
I,
I think we all agree on that.
no, I have a problem with the brain surgeon showing up high. But if he's in his home and he's got 12 hours to work and he wants to smoke a joint, then smoke it.
Smoke a dope.
okay.
Rope-a-dope. Don't
trying to
confuse
say-
rope-a-dope with smoke a joint.
I think it.
You're trying to say,
I'm
What
okay.
can-
I'm okay with the person in his spare time smoking marijuana. Just don't show up to work high.
okay.
To
I
me,
just wanted to be clear on that.
I wouldn't want a police officer high. Can you imagine him chasing people high?
Wouldn't be
Well,
chasing him.
with the marijuana, he will be happy. He will not be chasing shit.
Yeah. I would prefer that.
You would prefer a cop that's high. Yeah, well, okay, I can understand that too.
He's gonna be like, "Whoa, what's up? Stop doing that! You're gonna get in trouble, boy."
All right.